Hello, everybody out there in YouTube land. This is Djinn, and you may not be seeing video in this video. Well, in this YouTube thing, I guess you could call it, where I don't exactly have video to show you. However, I do have a public service announcement for all you gamers out there, and it's more or less a understanding and consideration of how you should both display and or store your games. Now, if you're like me and you've grown up in a household in which has many gamers, or even if you are not exactly well organized, here are a few tips that will help you become more organized with your games, never lose a game, or even never have a game destroyed. Tip number 1. Always store your games inside of the case in which they came in. Now, I know some of you are used gaming fans and you go out to your local game retailer, which it may be some big chain which provides a case, or it may be some small chain which only provides a small sleeve but with a label on it. Now, I encourage you to keep these sleeves and store your games in them. Now, you may be saying also, hey, but we can't do that because we have, not a whole lot of space to store them and we keep them in a binder. I understand. I truly do understand. But mark the binder. Organize the binder. Organize the binder by genre, type, favorites, however you do that. But always remember, when you're done with a game, put it back in the binder. Or, better yet, when you're going to switch out for another game, pull the game out and don't just place it down. Take the extra minute or two, 5 minutes, to go and play and flip through the binder or put it back in the case and put it back on the shelf, because you never know when you're going to pick up that game again and go, where'd it go? I don't know where it is. It could be somewhere, and you'll lose it. Now, with the uprise of online downloads or DLC, or even the release of games for download off the various stores of the consoles, i.e. Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo, you won't have to worry much about this. But if you're like me, you want a physical copy of your game because it's a proud display of something that you spent your hard-earned money on, something that you could instantly, hand off to a friend and say, hey, you want to play this game? Sure, just bring it back. If you have friends that borrow your games like I do. The important part is always store the game in the game case. And, there's no simpler way of, keeping the game. Now, what keeps you from losing the game case? Well, remembering to put it back on wherever you're storing it, whether that be on top of the mantle of your entertainment system, in a shelf, inside of a binder, on a bookshelf of sorts. Wherever you're storing your games, just remember to put that back as well, because otherwise there was really no point in putting it in the game case, other than to identify it for when you want to pick it up again and make it a little more plainly obvious than just a few micron thick disc out in the middle of the open. But tip number 2, and this one's a little more for the multiple household gamers, where if you have a game inside your console, take the game case and open it, keep it open, and display it in its open state on top of the entertainment system, television, wherever it would be the most convenient, so that everyone knows this is what's in the system. This is the case. This is where the case is. And if you're going to take the disc out of the console, put it in the case and back where it belongs, because otherwise it'll just get lost. And you don't. I don't want to lose a game. I'm sure you don't want to lose a game. It's pretty important not to lose or break a game, especially since where does it usually end up? On top of the mantle, or wherever the temporary storage place or resting place of your video games are, and then they have a tendency to get scratched or damaged or stepped on in the case of people who don't have a whole lot of storage areas. It's a very big tip. Very big. Now, it may be that a lot of you may not be able to follow these guidelines, but I find it useful to understand that if you follow these guidelines, you'll never lose or break a game by accident, unless you're intentionally stepping on it, or you put it in a place that is intentionally unsafe, or even unintentionally safe. Either way, follow the guidelines, you'll never lose or break your games again. Now, reason number three, guide number 3, I guess you could call it, is bacon. Always bacon. There's no caveat to that. Bacon. Just bacon. No, not really bacon. Uh, but really bacon. Like best nature's meat candy, if you will. But guide number 3 is don't stack games on top of each other outside of their cases. And I know I've already covered this, but just don't do it. It's not smart. It's probably the worst storage method you can ever consider of doing, because, well, think about this way. You take a game and put it on top of a stack of other games, and now you've got a stack of games which you thumb through, and now your fingerprints are all over that game, and your nail marks, and the dirt on your hands. And I know what you're saying, but I'm not dirty. Well, your fingers are dirty, period. Like, you're touching things all day, you're dirty, but that's a rant for someone else at some other time. The important part is you're getting that disc dirty by just sifting through it. By putting it back in its case, being a responsible owner of a uh, media, of a medium for storing media, you want to preserve that. Not only just for yourself, but for later generations, or even, that special someone who's important to you that you want to give this to in the future, or now, or whenever. So, yeah, those are my 3 guidelines. 3 guidelines for being a responsible owner of a medium for storing media, period. And most often, gaming, in this case, as this channel is really all about gaming. So this is Sunjin Kari, and this has been my public service announcement for all of you gamers out there, and I hope that you have taken my thoughts to heart, and at least it has affected some of you. If not, so be it. Flame me for whatever you wish. But I'm happy to be an information source for those whom are willing to listen. Anyway, thank you very much. Take care.